The Bruised Hero. A short story. Chapter 1, The Wounded Beginning. The sun blazed hotly over the hills of Gasabo. A dry wind swept dust across the paths. On a small hill called Ruganda, a 12-year-old boy sat quietly on a rock, staring into the distant sky. His name was Benoit. His clothes were old, his feet rough and bruised. Benoit had lost his parents in a bus accident when he was just 5 years old. He was raised by his grandmother, Mukasakuru Sarah, a wise elderly woman who supported her tiny household with a patch of pineapple garden. Though life was harsh, she instilled in him patience, kindness, and integrity. "A true hero is not one who is always happy, my child," she used to say. "A real hero is one who survives hardship with dignity." Those words lived deep in Benoit's heart. While other children saw life as a normal adventure, with shoes, toys, and food, Benoit only dreamed of those things. In school, he was brilliant. But he wrote on torn papers, shared pencils, and lacked books. Some mocked him, calling him the forever hungry boy. But he never stole, never begged. Teachers admired him. One day, his teacher, Mr. Karinganir, called him aside. "Benoit, what keeps you strong through all this? Do you still hope for a better future?" Benoit smiled faintly, a tear forming in one eye. "I don't know, sir. But I believe sadness shouldn't define me. It teaches me to stay human." From then, Mr. Karinganir started supporting him, buying him books and materials. Yet emotional scars took longer to heal. Later, Benoit began helping other orphans. He created a small evening gathering called Night of Heroes, where vulnerable children shared their struggles. People began to notice. But Benoit always remembered his grandmother's words: "A hero is not the strongest, but the most patient." The city of many roads. Benoit earned a scholarship to study at a prestigious high school in Kigali. It was a dream come true but also a new battlefield. His grandmother walked him to the bus station, handing him a white handkerchief. "Sadness will follow you even in the city. But you are a hero, not because you'll win, but because you won't lose yourself." Kigali welcomed him with noise, confusion, and challenge. He lacked clothes, money, and even a stove. Some students mocked him. One, named Gakire, a boastful rich boy, teased, "Brains without money are useless, Benoit. This patience of yours won't pay rent." But Benoit never strayed from his values. He kept clean, studied hard, and shared whatever little he had. One day, he saw a street child shivering near a drainage pipe. While others walked past, Benoit gave the child his evening meal and blanket. The story spread fast. The school principal invited him to speak. Standing before the board, Benoit said, "A hero is not one who defeats problems, but one who dares to do good even when hurt." Soon, a school project called Heroes Vision was launched. Benoit led it. He was later awarded for integrity, while Gakire was expelled for cheating. The unbroken soul. After graduating, Benoit had no funds for university. His grandmother had passed. The house collapsed. No job in sight. Still, he didn't despair. He became a porter, sold sugarcane and phone cases at Nyabugo market. One day, a woman named Claire, who worked for an NGO, saw him helping a hungry woman. Touched, she asked, "Why do you help when you have so little?" "Because life isn't about what I have, but who I choose to be." Claire gave him a job in youth outreach. Within months, he became known across the city. Radios and schools invited him to speak, but he remained humble. Trouble came again. A jealous coworker accused him falsely. He was suspended. Rather than argue, Benoit calmly wrote a letter explaining his side. Claire defended him. The decision was reversed. The liar was dismissed and Benoit promoted. Claire later handed him a letter that read, "A hero fights no one, but defeats despair through calmness and truth." Benoit smiled, as a tear glistened in his eye, as always. Light from the darkness. Benoit started his own non-profit organization called Pain That Forgives. It helped orphans and youth who had lost hope. With the help of donors and friends, he began with 10 children, teaching them love, literacy, and healing. Within months, they were 50. He wrote a children's book called Heroes That Haven't Spoken. Not all was smooth. Some doubted him. A child died from illness. Benoit broke down. He walked to the child's grave and asked himself, "Am I still a hero?" Then he recalled his grandmother. A hero is not unshaken. A hero is one who chooses to believe again, even in darkness. He stood up. Kept going. 2 years later, over 1,000 children had been reached. He was invited to Parliament, awarded the Citizens' Heart Guardian Award. He stood before the audience and said, "I am Benoit. I once had nothing, no joy, no family, no hope. But I learned that pain doesn't erase our humanity. I chose to be light. You can too. A hero doesn't die from sadness." 7 years later, his project had grown nationwide. Still, Benoit remained simple. At a national event, he won the Catalyst for Change award. He said, "Thank you. But I give this award to all who are hurting but have not stopped dreaming. True heroes are you." After the ceremony, a young man he once helped, Elie, approached. "Papa Benoit, I once wanted to end my life. But you told me, when you've lost everything, you have a fresh chance to begin. That saved me." Benoit smiled, tearing up. "If you lived because of my words, then I too have lived because of your resilience." Years later, Benoit passed away peacefully. He left a letter, "Though life brings pain, it should not stop us. We are not what happens to us, we are what we choose to become. Be kind. Be the light, even if you've been broken."